I'd just like to welcome you all to a webinar hosted by ONI and Tintri, and hopefully this will be as useful to you as it's been to us in looking at this Tintri product. My name is Gordon Moore. I'm the Business Development Director at ONI, and also on the call, who will be coming on in a moment, is Troy Alexander, a Systems Engineer at Tintri with well over 15 years experience in storage. For your own, I suppose, enjoyment, a couple of little housekeeping things. One, it's useful to maximise the size of the screen, which you can do by using the little arrows at the very top right hand of the screen. That just means that some of the graphics will be in your favour. Also recommend you mute, if that's okay, just for the enjoyment of everyone, so any background noise is kept to a minimum. From a questions point of view, we're going to run through the presentation. It takes about 25 minutes from top to bottom, and at the end of that we're going to have a short amount of time for questions, but we're also going to do some follow-up to this where any other further questions we can capture as well. So, if we move on, Troy, to the agenda, just to show you a little bit of what we're going to go through in the next sort of 25 minutes, we're going to really just set the scene of why we're here and why Tintri is something that I think that is very useful for you to look at. And then we're going to go straight in for some technical detail around the product and the demonstration as well. And then moving after that, just have a brief conversation on why Tintri and ONI as a partnership, and then do a little wrap up and close and a couple of useful bits of information of actions going forward. So I think if we take a look at where we are in the storage in a virtual world, we have the traditional view on the left-hand side of the physical data center and storage array, where we had a one-to-one ratio between, I suppose, application and storage. And as we've moved to the virtualized data center, that has been revolutionized with the virtualized compute with a set of virtualized servers and requiring access to, in effect, a virtual disk. And that has led to a complexity in delivering the storage capability to each of those virtual servers. And in effect, that blender in the middle, that we call it, is where the application sits, where you are delivering the application level storage by delivering both volumes, LUNs, and RAID arrays specific within that storage array. And when you look at some of the challenges around that, that adds a considerable level of management complexity. Can be some technical pain points as well around that, and also some commercial around where you think you have 50 to 70% of capex is potentially spent on storage. So you can have performance bottlenecks. It can have a challenging management structure, and it also delivers some additional challenges where you may have a very limited view of the performance headroom of your storage array, depending on the demands of your virtual infrastructure. And one of the challenges I think that has been come through this is that the storage has always been following compute. So around the year 2000 is where virtualized storage infrastructure, compute infrastructure was really delivered, and that's like nearly 15 years ago. However, the storage environment has stayed very, very similar to where it was even back in the 1960s when LUNs were first designed. And where Tintri really fits is a smart storage system designed around a virtual environment, where we change storage looking at a VM aware and learning capability. So what I'd like to do, having just sort of set the scene a little bit, is hand over to Troy. Troy is one of the systems engineers at Tintri. He's got extensive experience of both storage and the virtual environment. And what he's going to do is take you through the actual product itself and why it actually sets itself outside of the standard storage environment.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for your time. So what Tintri builds is we build hardware storage appliances purely for the virtualized workload. So we need VMware to be installed, or Hyper-V, or KVM, or OpenStack. We have a family of products. There's 3 at the moment, small, medium, and large. They each have a combination of SSDs and hard disks, but Tintri actually is an all-flash file system, and we've bolted on hard disks as a feature. You don't need to tune anything on a Tintri storage appliance. Straight out of the box, you can install a system within 30 minutes. One of my customers bragged that he installed a system in 7 minutes by himself. And what Tintri is storage that speaks the same language as virtual machines. Tintri speaks virtual machines and virtual disks. We don't speak LUNs or volumes, and server virtualization speaks virtual machines and virtual disks. We can apply a lot of intelligence around the fact that we speak the same language as server virtualization. So we connect to the infrastructure using simple Ethernet, IP-based architecture. We use intelligent file-based storage protocols, NFS for VMware, for OpenStack, for KVM, SMB version 3 for Microsoft Hyper-V. And as I've noted, NFS and SMB are file-based storage protocols, which means they are more intelligent than block-based storage protocols, such as Fibre Channel, iSCSI, FCOE. And if you look at Microsoft's storage protocol recommendation for Hyper-V is SMB version 3. So they do not recommend Fibre Channel, iSCSI, or FCOE. We get a lot of our speed in the fact that we've embedded these intelligent storage protocols into our file system. So this is where we get a lot of our performance, is putting these protocols in the file system. We do inline dedupe, inline compression. We connect at 10 gig or 1 gigabit Ethernet, depending on your infrastructure. And we have the combination of the SSDs and hard disks on to provide the capacity. So this is the architecture in a bit more detail. As I mentioned, Tintri is a all-flash file system. And what we've done is we've bolted hard disk onto the system because we know that a lot of blocks within VMs are cold blocks. Our file system is being built and is intelligent enough to understand every single block inside every single vDisk. More importantly, Tintri Smart Storage understands the virtual construct of a vDisk and the fact that multiple vDisks make up a virtual machine. As I mentioned, knowing the virtualization layers above us allows us to apply intelligence that what we call traditional dumb storage cannot do. This is what we believe. We believe that it's applications that drive our customers' businesses. It's applications that keep patient records, customer records, intelligent engineering designs, the applications that make money for the business. But we find that customers are spending too much time managing infrastructure, old infrastructure, traditional infrastructure, such as storage, LUNs and volumes, playing what we call storage Tetris. And what we've done and what we believe here at Tintri is that we can give you back that time. We can remove the need for you to spend hours or days managing storage. And we can allow you to focus on more forward-thinking projects for the business. Think about the applications, think about VDI, think about cloud. So under the covers, this is the most technical slide that I have. On the left is any SAN and any NAS. And on the left, SAN and NAS doesn't understand the difference between virtual machines and virtual disks. So traditional storage down the bottom here, it treats that workload as a single client, when in reality, there's multiple virtual machines, and each virtual machine will have different workloads depending on the drive. The C drive will have the operating system as a different I/O profile to the D drive that has the database, which is different to the L drive, which holds the logs. And on the left, though, traditional storage, dumb storage, doesn't understand the difference, so it treats everything the same. On the right is Tintri Smart Storage. We understand every single block inside every single vDisk. We create individual queues per virtual machine, and then we use intelligent proportional scheduling algorithms to make sure that every VM gets their fair share of the physical resource. VM1, for example, could be an SQL VM doing 20,000 IOPS. We support mixed workloads. VM2 could be a VDI, could be the boss's VDI that only needs 5 IOPS. What we do is we actually give VM1 multiple lanes onto the physical highway. He could have 10 or 20 lanes, but we do make sure that VM2, the latency sensitive VDI, has the ability to get to the front of his own queue. We then make sure that this VDI session gets their low latency request service quicker than it would if it was stuck behind all of the SQL VM1's queue. The smart storage tagline comes in because from a disk perspective, it's the I/O profile, the read and the write. And that changes minute by minute, day by day, and week by week. And what we're doing is we're constantly monitoring each VM queue. And when we see a change in read-write profile from 80% read, 20% write, to 50-50 read-write, or maybe 100% write during a database ingest, we dynamically reallocate the physical resources within the storage to handle for the change in I/O profile. And after 4 years of shipping product, I still don't see any other storage vendor that is dynamically learning and adapting to the traffic at a virtual machine and virtual disk level. That's why we believe we're a new category of storage, a new class of storage called smart storage. This is what smart storage brings to you, the flash-first architecture, which gives you all flash performance at closer to hard disk pricing. Everything that you execute in terms of policy within Tintri is at the VM level. So when you create snapshots at the VM level, cloning, replication at the VM level. You can manage Tintri storage from the vSphere web plugin or from Microsoft's SC VMM. It's a native integration into the hypervisor tools. So Tintri Smart Storage, we're storage that sees the traffic, we learn the traffic in terms of the I/O profile, and then we adapt. Without you, the customer, having to do anything. We do all of this dynamically. We've built the intelligence into the storage product to free you up from having to worry about having to manually change and tune LUNs and volumes. So now it's time for a quick demo. Just going to switch screens. So now you should be able to see my web browser. This is the dashboard view. Here on this Tintri appliance, you can see that there's 24,000 IOPS. You can see the throughput, 224 megabytes per second of throughput. Me being a storage guy, I look straight to the latency. The average storage latency is 0.8 of 1 millisecond. Hard disk is sometimes 6 milliseconds on a good day. And on a bad day, it can be hundreds or even thousands of milliseconds. We come in at less than 1 consistently. You'll also notice underneath, when I hover on the bar, we give the average end-to-end latency. So guest and host latency, network latency, and storage latency. How much of the I/O profile is coming out of the flash? We have our own big data project. There's about 200,000 VMs that dialed home last night, and we're tracking at 99% of all reads and writes coming out of the flash acceleration layer. We've got a capacity fuel gauge, which is very simple. You can do your capacity management planning. And up the top here, or in the middle, we have a performance reserve fuel gauge. And this helps you in terms of capacity planning for performance. Traditionally, storage is a bit of a black art when you're doing performance capacity planning. You either under-provision or you over-provision the disk space to make sure you've got the performance, but you're not utilizing as much disk space as you should. Or you just jam everything into a LUN or a volume until it falls over, and then you have to scramble to get things off again. We make performance capacity planning very simple with Tintri. Over on the right, you can see which VMs are using the most performance in the storage layer. You can also see there's 243 VMs that are creating that 24,000 IOPS. We can see which VMs are also starting to consume the most capacity. I'm going to switch tabs. Now I can sort on the VMs. Which of my VMs are using the most IOPS, or virtual desktops? One click of a mouse button on Tintri. I can also add which of my VMs have the highest end-to-end latency, I've added in the host column. So when I sort by highest end-to-end latency, are they all on the same physical host? Do I need to look at that host maybe and investigate why all those VMs have the highest latency? I can double-click down into any VM or virtual desktop. I can then see, I can graph IOPS versus latency. And you notice that the latency is color-coded. Guest and host latency is green, network latency is yellow, storage latency is blue, and hard disk is orange. So you can see here, you can very quickly see that the network and the storage are performing, but it's the guest and host latency that are causing the problem. So if I flip up to the top graph, we also pull this information from the hypervisor, CPU usage percent swap weight, percent ready. I can see here that this VM is writing out this vswap file on the storage quite a lot. If I increase that virtual memory on that VM, it will decrease the host latency on the VM. So that's the end of the demo. I'm going to flip back to the presentation. A quick brief about Tintri. We've been around since 2008, been shipping products for the last, I need to update this, it's 4 years, since 2011. We have over 500 customers globally. One thing to note about our customer base is that over 50% of our customers have revenues north of $1 billion. Here in the UK, we've got the BBC, we've got BAE Systems submarines. In the US, we have companies like Apple Engineering, Apple Marketing. We also have Cisco Engineering as well. We have a world-class support organization, 24/7/365, 4 global support centers. We have Cork for EMEA, we have Mountain View, California, Tokyo, Japan, and Shanghai in China. So Tintri has chosen ONI as a strategic partner, and now I'll hand back to Gordon.
Thanks very much, Troy. So what we wanted to do at this point was just to sort of let you understand why ONI and Tintri really have become strategic partners. One of the key things when we were discussing this with Tintri was our strategic approach to solutions. It's not just about shipping a product. It's not just about providing a simple solution to a simple problem. It's about looking at how that actually has a business need, how it affects the user, and certainly when we looked at Tintri as a product, we understood that this could have a significant impact in improving the performance of the user experience. ONI as well are an owner and operator of data centers and cloud propositions across the UK, and from our data centers we use the Tintri product, and our clients do as well. And it's a key selling point, I think, of the Tintri product is it is a complementary product. This is not a ripping out your existing storage solution and delivering a new one through Tintri. Tintri is focused on in the virtual environment, and the supplementary use of Tintri in an existing storage infrastructure can actually deliver some cost saving, some performance improvement, and some management reduction without replacing or reinvesting completely, especially as if you're already sort of maybe invested in a SAN in the recent future, in the recent times. The other thing as well is obviously we've gone through an intensive program with Tintri to ensure that we're fully trained. We're actually a qualified gold partner with Tintri, and going back to what Troy said before, the speed of delivery of this solution is phenomenal. I concur with what Troy was saying. Solutions are delivered in hours, if not minutes. They're certainly not delivered in weeks and months, and that means that you can deliver the business benefits of the product to your organizations faster. So just to tell you a little bit more about ONI and just give you a couple of key facts. This is our solution stack, just showing some of the key areas that we're focused in as an organization. And you can see they're underpinned by our data center infrastructure. And Tintri is one of the key partners that we have within that virtualization environment. We've been established for over 20 years, and although we put up there stable, it's not just about financial stability. We pride ourselves, and a lot of our customers have been with us for many years. This is not about again, like I was saying, like a product delivery and walk away. We pride ourselves on engaging with our clients, understanding their business needs, and driving that through so that we can actually challenge some of the problems you have, and making those strategic decisions to enable future growth and cost reduction. Reliability and flexibility, I think, are things that everyone demands from any partner or engagement. But one of the key things is within ONI is our culture and ethos is the reputation for delivering on our promises. And again, our case studies and our existing clients are a testament to that, as they have continued to work with us over years, and some of them even decades. So what I'd like to sort of end on is a bit of a summary here. When we sent out the webinar invite, we sort of challenged three key things: removing complexity, improving performance, and reducing costs. And I believe the Tintri product key deliverables here is the complexity is the removing of that management layer. Having a VM-aware system, a smart storage solution which ever changes to the environment that you have for your VMs is key to delivering a solution that actually improves. And one of the key improvements is that performance and the quality of service that is delivered to each of those VMs, so that you can ensure that the delivery of the storage is specific to each VM, as that is ever changing as well. So as one VM demands more resource, it is there immediately. And lastly, of course, is the reduction in unnecessary costs. So again, come back to that point. We are not looking at a rip and replace environment here. We're looking at a complementary product that can provide you with some additional capacity, drive performance through, and then as part of that, you can then re-provision storage capability within an existing SAN to enable optimization of that and improving the use of legacy equipment. So just to finish off the presentation, thank you for your time and in listening to myself and to Troy taking you through the Tintri product. What we'd like to see as the next steps going forward after this webinar is that we are offering a free of charge storage consultation, and particularly that free of charge consultation is specifically around what benefits would the Tintri product deliver within your environment. So it's assessing your VM requirements, your storage requirements, and then understanding what impact Tintri would make to that. And then that moves on to like a product discovery part, where we are then looking at what Tintri product would be the correct one that would maybe provide a business benefit to you. But then also maybe even look at things like proof of concepts to make sure that we can actually deliver on our promises. And certainly from my experience, any proof of concept that has gone into any of our clients has never been removed. Once they've seen the benefits, once they've seen the speed of implementation, the ability for it to learn and adapt, it means that it's really a necessity then straight after. So as you can see, my details are on the screen there, Gordon Moore. And certainly from my point of view, we are going to, from ONI, going to engage by calling each of the attendees of the webinar back and basically getting some feedback from yourselves. Looking at maybe what the next steps for you. If Tintri is a product you'd like to go forward with, how do we engage that free of charge consultation? But also, if there are some urgent requirements, if we really piqued your interest and you're really keen to move this forward quickly in the next sort of few hours or day, then my details are on the screen, and I invite you to give me a ring or drop me an email, and I'll happily respond immediately to you. So we do literally have 2, maybe 3 minutes left. If anyone does have any questions, then there is the chat window within WebEx that we would like you to use if you'd like to ask a question or two. And certainly myself and Troy will stay on the WebEx for a few minutes if there are any questions that are available. I hope you've enjoyed this, and we appreciate your time, and hopefully we'll see you again on another ONI webinar very soon. So it doesn't look as though we have any responses or any questions. So from ONI and from Tintri, I'd like to thank you for your time. And what we'll do is we'll be contacting you in the next few days to get feedback. And if you do have any specific questions, then by all means contact myself, or we'll be in touch very shortly. Thank you very much for your time.